Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Once again, I'm your boy Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Other nations are looking at banning TikTok because of the information that it steals and delivers directly to China. Now, everyone knows that every government monitors everyone's use of their apps and stuff like that. It just happens. We're living in a world where we have to know that sometimes our government's going to be watching us through our own cameras that we have personally bought. But the difference is this information going to China automatically goes to the Chinese People's Republic, goes right to the government. The people in the government get to see everything that's going on. They get to keep information on you internationally. And if they don't like you and you're within China, they get to lock you up. You may never show up again. A lot of the electronics that we buy are made in China. They're not just made in China cheaply. A lot of times they're made for slave labor. If people don't like the Communist People's Party, they're within China. They get put in prison. A lot of times they go to slave labor. And if they don't like it, a lot of times literally they get taken out back to the police station and shot in the back of the head. That's just the way it goes. You see all these electronics that we got here that are super cheap that we'll never put down. Man, they come from China, slave labor, and what's even worse than that is the rare earth metals that we get to make them come from Africa, and they're generally mined by child labor. So, you know, there's a little blood on all of our hands for all this stuff, but we won't stop buying the electronics. It's unfortunate, but in this case, the U.S. government is looking into banning TikTok and other Chinese apps. Before I get into this, I want to say that recently we found out that LinkedIn and the Reddit app also take your information from your clipboard. A lot of people might say, what is your clipboard? Okay, you see when I do this and I come down and hit copy? That information is now on my clipboard. There's a lot of apps that will send that information right back to the servers. In TikTok's case, those servers are in China. And once again, China gets your information. A lot of time you could have things on your clipboard like username and password you should never put there. Some people say there's a useful reason that they do this, but still, it's just sketchy. It's real sketchy. I watched a video of somebody using TikTok, and every time they pressed the button, a notification came up saying TikTok sent your information back to China, basically. And the only reason that we got this information was because there was I believe it was an Android API for developers that was put out that would automatically let you know if your information was sent and where it was going to. Let's take a look at this. India just bans its citizens from accessing TikTok, CamScanner, WeChat, and 56 other popular Chinese apps. Now, let's just halt for a sec. India is in a border dispute with China. 22 Chinese people were killed, soldiers, and 20 Indian soldiers and over 40 Chinese soldiers were attacked or were killed, unfortunately. And because of that, India is banning all of these apps. Now, WeChat, if you have WeChat, the Chinese government is watching what you're doing. Just flat out, straight up. It's basically the Chinese People's Republic text app. If you're in China, they're reading it really quickly, and they're definitely going through it. You can make purchases, you can pay your utility bills, you can pay all kinds of things in China with WeChat. They don't take cash in China anymore. I know somebody personally who went to China and was shocked to find out that in most places they could not use cash, which is just unconscionable. Anyways, in an interview with Fox News, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said the U.S. government was looking at imposing a ban on Chinese social media apps like TikTok. Once again, they don't say anything about LinkedIn or the Reddit app also taking your information but not putting it in China. The comment follows further investigational or international isolation of China and companies based in the country, as the U.K. Is now also looking into restricting Huawei. Again, China gets your information. One thing China loves to do is get people to build their tech over in China, so people will take their technical patents over to China and get people to make things, but then in China they take your patents and they reuse it. I believe Xiaomi is known for taking other people's patents and then reusing. I could be wrong about that one, but it is a known thing that happens in China, and because I'm talking about China this way, I can't monetize this video. YouTube won't let me because YouTube and a lot of the businesses within America are so far in bed with China. It's freaking amazing. So let's put things into perspective. LeBron James, I believe his name is, in basketball, is really upset with one of the basketball owners who says that that Hong Kong should be free. The thing about Hong Kong is it was taken away from China when China lost the Opium Wars to the British, and it's now going back into Chinese hands. And China wants it to go back into their hands. When the NBA was given a hard time by China because one owner said that Hong Kong should be free, LeBron James, he comes out and he's like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. China is great, basically, and you should make better business decisions. Now this Black Lives Matter thing comes out, and he's all over, and he's like equal rights and all this stuff. But LeBron James isn't interested in the people dying in China as long as he's getting paid. I wonder if LeBron James got paid for dying black men, would he jump off the BLM bandwagon? It's interesting. It cites an interesting predicament. Like, we at the end, we get these things, these electronics from China, made through slave labor or really cheap labor, and we were okay with that. We spend the money, we get the cheap stuff, and there's a bit of blood on our hands, so none of us are innocent. Anyways, when confronted with the Indian TikTok ban and asked if the U.S. would do the same for other networks and other Chinese social media apps, Mike Pompeo said, "We are taking this very seriously and we are certainly looking into it," mentioning the preceding Huawei and ZTE ban. He said, "We have worked on this very issue for a long time, continuing with respect to Chinese apps and people's cell phone. I can assure you, United States will get this one right too." So it's really interesting. TikTok is led by an American CEO with hundreds of employees and key leaders across safety, security, product, and publicity, public policy here in the U.S. We have no higher priority than promoting safe and secure app experience. Does anyone believe this? Does anyone actually believe what an American CEO says? Seriously. Because you know all they want is money. They can lie through their teeth as long as they get their money. And that seems to be the way that people are observing the rich right now. People who got their money by illegal means or by not necessarily good means, and are willing to step on the lower class in order to continue. That's just the way things are right now. We have never provided users' data to the Chinese government, nor would we do so if asked. I don't believe that. I absolutely do not believe that. According to NBC, TikTok previously already said that U.S.'s user data isn't stored or processed on Chinese servers. The country behind the company behind TikTok runs a separate version of the social network called something else that I can't pronounce, which is subject to Chinese censorship and regulation. The international version of the social media platform only rose to success after merging with Musical.ly, the US-based lip-syncing service back in 2018. I forgot all about that. Without India and the US, TikTok might face hardship. Oh, they absolutely will face hardship. I was reading another article about that. The two makers are currently the most important ones for developers and manufacturers wanting to grow international. It's unclear if the company continue its rapid expansion if the US pulls through with the ban. I definitely think we need to be looking at China a little bit differently, especially now that they've taken over Hong Kong. A lot of Hong Kong protesters that were on camera protesting Hong Kong are going to go missing, and they're going to probably start making our electronics if they're not taken out behind the police station and shot in the back of the head. And that's unfortunate, but as uncomprehensible, as crazy as this may seem, these are definitely the signs of our times. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all from me. I'm Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Like and subscribe if you like this stuff, if you like true news, if you like true information. I try to get true information to you. A lot of people don't like to talk about what's going on in China. Nobody in the news wants to talk about it, because if you get on their bad side, then you are cut out of the honey well, the money that is China. But remember, do we want to be free people, or do we want money? Seriously. How does it go? Of what worth is it to a man if he gains the world and loses his own soul? I'm not a Christian, but that one really sticks with me. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. Take care of each other, folks, and have a good one.